Hey, tell us about Silver Annex.
Well, first, my name is James Ryer. I moved a couple years ago to New Hampshire for the Free State Project. And I want to start a business in New Hampshire. So 6 months ago, I started silverannex.com. It's basically a place, well, the homepage has a map. And on that map, it has kind of a tab for each city. And each city has a certain number of co-op members for the Silver Annex Co-op Club, which is basically for people who, well, two things. First of all, they have to be enthusiastic about the idea of trading silver. And second of all, they have to have the preference that if two similar stores were selling, say, gasoline, and they had similar prices, but one was taking silver as currency, then the other wasn't, then they would prefer the one that was taking silver.
Okay.
So,
and now, talk to me a little bit about what you have going on the table here.
well, one of the services that I'm offering is training on how to spot fake silver. Because if you're a vendor, you have to be able to spot those fake coins. So
right, yeah.
If you want to try to test out and find if you can spot the fake, we have a fake.
Can I get you to hold this for a minute?
Sure, sure.
Okay. So let's look at these coins, and let me see.
So you're looking at the 1 ounce coins.
So how many of these are fake?
2 of them. So one of the 1 ounce coins are fake, and one of the half ounce coins. They're not exactly 1 ounce because this is a U.S. coin, so it's a little less than an ounce. But one of those 2 is fake.
I'm so bad at this. Okay.
Well, I'll give you a hint. Okay. If you would try to hear the sound of, say, throwing it on the table. One has a high-pitched sound, that's the fake. One has a low-pitched sound, that's the real deal. Alright, well, I'll give you a hint.
Yeah.
If you, say, drop it from this side, it might give you a really good hint.
Okay.
So that's, I'll give you a hint and say that's a low-pitched sound when it hit the table right there.
Right.
And this, a lot higher pitch.
Right, exactly.
So the higher pitch is the fake silver.
This is the fake.
Right. It's actually really easy if you learn to identify that sound.
Right. Yeah. So that's really interesting. So what if you were trying to find, like, if you had, you say you have a dime, dimes, you have a bunch of old coins, and one, like, if you're trying to find the silver dimes, like they're selling over at the I can't remember the yeah, like the Freedom Phoenix dimes. If you wanted to try and find silver dimes and you had a suspicion that you had one, can you use this technique to find?
Well, for the cards, you can. But
it's not for the cards.
Right, it's not as big of a deal if it's just a small dime because it's only a couple bucks if you're wrong.
Sure, but it's always nice to, if you know the skill. Once you have the skill, then you can start pulling silver out of your change. And start separating things out.
But the main theme that I have is focusing in one location. And once I have 50 members in one location, I can approach a merchant and say, hey, we have a buyers club with 50 members who all like to spend our silver. Would you like to have members spending silver at your store?
Right.
So that's the general pitch that I think will really make it a lot easier for, say, a random gas station to accept silver.
Right. Yeah, awesome. So I want to look at here. Can you talk to me a little bit about your chart?
All right. Well, this is a chart of the money supply. And if you look, this is a money supply chart by the year. So this was 2008 when the crash happened, the dollar, well, the first downslide for the dollar crash. And that money supply chart just goes from 2004 kind of pretty low at 5%, and then it just shoots up all the way to 15%. And that's about when the dollar took a really hard hit. So you can see the correlation there between a crash in the economy compared to the money supply. And if you look at the latest years, 2012, it's up to well, there's 3 different measures here, but the middle one is at 10%, so it's getting to a pretty dangerous position where you're going to expect at least 10% inflation or even more.
And then over here you've got the national debt tally, right?
Yeah, this is from usdebtclock.org. It has a lot of different numbers. It calculates, like, for example, the debt per citizen, the debt per taxpayer. The number I like to look at is the debt to GDP. The GDP is basically just the amount of money. Can you point that one out? Let's see if I can find it here. Yeah, right here. 102% is our current debt to GDP. Anything over 100% is considered in danger of default. Greece was at about 135% when it went bankrupt. So I'd expect something similar to happen in the U.S. Of course, it's not going to be exact. Japan got up to 200%, but they have a really low interest rate on their debt, so they're in a better shape than we are. Very cool.
So do you have a website that I can have people... Oh, well, I see it right here.
Yeah, www.silverannex.com is the website name.
Okay, very cool.